Hello and welcome to this APS snippet. This snippet is about the seven wastes. And the seven wastes is a theory by Taiichi Ohno. The seven wastes is a theory that relates closely to lean, and it's often used in manufacturing, although it can be used across any aspect of business. For the purpose of this example, I'm going to give you the wastes in relation to my chocolate cake factory to try and demonstrate the purpose of understanding the wastes and how we can add value in the supply chain by eliminating waste. So waste is anything that occurs in a supply chain or a process that doesn't add value. And if something doesn't add value, we need to question why we're doing it. The seven wastes, according to Taiichi Ohno, are waiting, overprocessing, transport, overproduction, motion, inventory, and defects. So firstly, waiting. So thinking about working in my chocolate cake factory. If you imagine the people that work on the production line start work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and these people are paid to ice the chocolate cakes that are coming down the production line. The first chocolate cakes, however, do not start coming down the production line until 8 o'clock. So for an hour, there's people stood on the production line waiting and nothing is happening. This is certainly not adding value in the supply chain. The second waste is overprocessing. So this is doing something in the supply chain, again, that doesn't add value. We're processing something that doesn't need to be processed. So in the chocolate cake factory, maybe after every chocolate cake comes out its baking tray, we're going through a rigorous cleaning process, cleaning all the baking trays, and then we're reusing them. Does that add value? Do we need to clean the baking trays after every single cake, or could we just reuse them and clean them once at the end of the day? I would suggest that that is overprocessing. We don't need to clean them every time we've used them. The same product is going in time after time. So let's stop overprocessing and remove that waste. The next waste is transport. So maybe in my chocolate cake factory, every day, a van leaves the factory to deliver the cakes to the customers and the consumers. If we don't plan the route correctly, we might be using transport ineffectively. We're creating waste. If we don't optimize the transport space we've got, so for example, maybe the van can hold 200 cakes, but we actually use the van 4 times on 4 different occasions, and we only put 50 cakes in at a time. That's a wasteful use of transport. The next waste is overproduction. So quite simply here, we're making too much of something. So in my chocolate cake factory, we may have an order to complete for 150 cakes, and we make 200 just because we can. We've got no sales or forecast to sell those. So those 50 cakes, in effect, are waste. That's overproduction. The next waste is motion. So maybe on my chocolate cake factory, the bakers take the cakes out of the oven and they put them on the cooling rack. And the cooling rack can hold 10 cakes, for example. Once the cakes are on the cooling rack, the next part of the process is to put them on the production line for them to go to be iced. The bakers at the current time take each cake individually and put it on the production line and then walk back and get the next cake. They do that trip 10 times for every tray. That's wasteful. That's unnecessary motion. Why not take the whole tray with 10 cakes, put them on the production line, and do the journey just once? The penultimate waste is inventory. So this is about holding too much stock. It might be that we can get economies of scale for bulk buying, but if we haven't got a forecast or a need for that stock and it's got a short shelf life, that could be wasteful. So let's buy smart. Let's buy what we need that we know we've got a forecast for and reduce the waste of unnecessary inventory. The final waste is defects. So maybe in the chocolate cake factory, some of the cakes aren't coming out the cake tins as well as they should, and we're putting them in the bin. We can't sell them. They're not fit for purpose. To eradicate that waste, let's look at buying some new non-stick tins whereby the cakes will come out and we haven't got the defects. Defects are a waste. They don't add value. They cost money. So that's your 7 wastes. You can relate waiting, over-processing, transport, overproduction, motion, inventory, and defects to most aspects of the supply chain. Look at your own supply chain. See if any of those 7 wastes are present. See if you can remove them to try and reduce waste and add value.